Okay, let's dig into brand monikers. Oh, I get so excited about this. This is such a cool way to build a brand identity. So, what is a coaching brand moniker? It's a name or a title that sets you apart in your brand. It makes it memorable and recognizable to your clients. All right, here's some example brand monikers that I want to share with you. So you may have heard of some of them, you may not have, but brand monikers, we like to think that people anoint them as something, but really they're driving their brand. And so they've decided what their moniker is, and then they build it into their story. So, or especially you'll hear it a lot when you're hearing someone being introduced on stage or reading a bio or what have you, and maybe podcast or whatever. And it's like, oh, Gary Vee, he's known as the king of social media or known many too. And it's like, chances are he came up with this brand moniker, right? Don't sit around and wait for someone to anoint you as something. Decide what it is and drive it, right? So Gary Vee, the king of social media. Brene Brown coined the vulnerability expert. Dave Ramsey's the money man. George Strait, one of my favorites, the king of country. And then we also have the king, who's Elvis, and then the king of pop, Michael Jackson, that kind of stuff. So, and then we have Oprah Winfrey, who's known as the queen of media. Elon Musk was known as the techno king. Sheryl Sandberg, remember she wrote that book, Lean In? So she's the lean in lady. See how that's like, a moniker that makes sense for her, right? Mine is the fast track coach. So I'm working on almost getting the trademark, all that kind of stuff. So the fast track coach, right? So those are some examples of brand monikers. So how can you decide on your brand moniker? Again, if this resonates with you, amazing, do it, double down on it, share it, have one. It's going to help build your brand faster. And that's what, when I looked at doing when I could teach if I teach a coach how to build a brand identity, how can I do it so that they get results faster? That's how I think of everything, because this is the fast track, right? So having a brand moniker is going to help you. However, if it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay too. You can do it later. You can skip this, but I hope you play, because it's kind of fun, right? So deciding on your brand moniker, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to reflect on your expertise. Consider what sets you apart from everyone else. Your unique skills, your expertise are the foundation of your moniker. People have always told me my whole life that I do them fast, right? So being on the fast track, I was always in the corporate world. I wanted to be on the fast track. How can I get on the fast track? Blah, 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 blah. My coaches want to have results faster than they're getting them. It makes sense for me, right? So same thing with you. What sets you apart and what is your expertise in, okay? And then the second thing is it should connect with your audience. So think about what resonates with your clients. Your moniker should capture their aspirations and needs, right? So, same type of thing. Very similar to the brand totem and the brand catchphrase and that kind of stuff. Like, it really is something that we want to make sure we're always connecting. So when Gary Vee was teaching social media, of course he wants to be the king of social media because his audience wants to learn from the king of social media, right? The next thing is to be authentic. So I want you to stay true to yourself. Your moniker should reflect your personality and values authentically, right? All about being authentic. So we also can find inspiration everywhere. So you can look for inspiration on your moniker in everyday life, looking at symbols, words, or phrases that resonate with your coaching style and your philosophy. Sometimes you might say a saying over and over, or if you're wandering around a store and you see something with quotes, you're always like, oh, it just always finds me. That's a sign that could be potentially your brand moniker. So just keep your ears open for that. You can also survey some clients. You can ask people, hey, when you think of me, what do you think about? If you have to think about, 3 words to describe me, that type of thing, you can do research. But ultimately your brand moniker is one of these things that you're like, yes, like that sounds good. And over time, your moniker can change. Like Gary Vee being the king of social media, I don't know, maybe that's still his thing. But if he decides to go back into rating in, wine or whatever, So it's like over time it can change. However, it usually, has some legs and longevity is what we want it to have. All right, so now it's your turn to create your brand moniker. You can have fun with this, really make it impactful. And I think it's going to help fast track your own brand identity as a coach and get you out there more. And you can share your brand moniker on your bios, on your social media, and all that kind of stuff. And it just helps people remember you, which is what we want, which is what branding is. All right, so up next, we're going to get into brand voice. And this is really, really important because brand voice is more than like the voice, like you're hearing my voice now. It's also in how you write. And I'll break down some case studies that I did, and you'll be like, oh, yes, this makes sense. So remember, all this stuff with brand identity, it's all intentional, it's all strategic, and it can all be designed and should be designed by you as opposed to other people will all. If you don't do it, then they're going to do it for you. And we'd rather lead our brand, right? All right. See you in a minute.